Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. Welcome back to Cricket Happenings. On this cricket show, it would be the third day's play in the match between Australia versus Pakistan, where stumps on day three. Pakistan went on to post a big total of 443 for 9 declared, and Azhar Ali became the first double centurion for Pakistan against Australia in Australia. So, this is the first double century ever scored by a Pakistani batsman in Australia. So, that will definitely tell you how difficult it has been on Australian wickets for Pakistan to get a double century. So, Azhar Ali gets that proud honor of scoring the first ever double century, and this is also the highest score made. This was the highest score made by Pakistan batsman in Australia, which stands in the name of Azhar Ali, who was not out on 205. He received ample support from Sohail Khan, who really went big, and especially he clattered 4 sixes of Nathan Lyon to make his highest score in Test cricket of 65 runs off as many balls, which enabled Pakistan to declare the innings score close at 443 for 9, and Australia replied in a very, very firm manner, with David Warner getting a century in Test matches. As you know, in one days he has been scoring a lot of centuries, but Test matches has been a sort of a big question mark for him. And I wouldn't say he was under pressure, but probably after 18 Test matches or 18 innings, David Warner finally got one at the MCG. He never has had his record to date at the MCG has not been so good, but today he changed it totally with an innings of 144, with Usman Khwaja providing the support he needed, not out on 95, 5 short of his 100 today, and Australia, as I said, had a firm reply to the Pakistani total. They finished at 278 for 2. So still there are 165 runs behind. So still some way to go for Australia. Now, as far as the other match is concerned, this is the match which is really heading towards the result, one could say, because today Sri Lanka were bowled out very early. Vernon Philander taking 2 wickets in 2 wickets in his very first over of the day. That of Dhananjay De Silva, and in the first over he also got the wicket of Lakmal. So basically Sri Lanka conceding. And also Vernon Philander getting his 5-wicket haul, getting another 5-wicket haul after his comeback. This was his first 5-wicket haul, I reckon. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he took it against England. I don't really remember. If my facts might not be right, I'm sorry about it. So South Africa. They started off in their second dig 81 runs ahead, and Stephen Cook scored the maximum number of centuries in this year 2016 for South Africa, as he reeled off his 3rd Test century, with Quinton de Kock and Amla being the others who have already got 2 centuries each. And South Africa were placed in a very, very good position. The Sri Lankan bowling left a lot to be desired today, one could say, as South Africa closed the day at 351 for 5. Essentially, they were 432 runs ahead, and we still have 2 full days of cricket coming up at St. George Park in Port Elizabeth, and we are definitely heading towards a result. And you know, one thing for South Africa is that they still can play on tomorrow, probably even up till they are already getting quick runs, and they could probably swell the total to an excess of 550, and then and put it to the Sri Lankans to go and actually have a chase, and that should be an interesting day's play coming up tomorrow. That's on the 4th day. So right now, and also one more thing, I would like to give you a cricket update here. The cricket update is coming here from Nelson at the Saxton Park in Nelson. It has been very, very cloudy there, and it is Bangladesh who have actually won the toss, and I thought the captain Mashraf Mortaza has actually made the right decision here. He has elected to bowl first and that is a really the very correct decision, because it is absolutely overcast here at the Saxton Oval. And also, let me tell you, for Bangladeshi cricket fans, there are 3 debuts today. In fact, Mushfiqur Rahim is out due to injury, so his place has been taken by the other wicketkeeper batsman Nurul Hassan, and they have the all-rounder Tanveer Haider making his one-day international debut today, and he has come in the place of Soumya Sarkar, who has been dropped after a poor run of scores, and the former Sri Lankan player and the Bangladeshi coach currently, Chandika Hatrasinghe, definitely hinted at that Soumya Sarkar is under a lot of pressure. So he was dropped today, and Shubhashis Roy is the pace bowler who has been included. So there are 3 debutants today for Bangladesh, and I think they can't get better conditions than this to bowl here at the Saxton Oval in Nelson against the Kiwis. And for Bangladesh, this is a must-win match for them, because this is a three-match ODI series, and Bangladesh would be hoping that they actually square the series. Well, one has to wait and watch. So as and when anything comes up, I will definitely give you a live cricket update. So right now, let's jump into the match between Australia and Pakistan, and we are looking at day 3. So the day 3 started with Azhar Ali at the crease along with Sohail Khan, and initially one thought, in fact Mohammad Amir was the one who was the overnight batsman, but Mohammad Amir could not continue, as Mohammad Amir's wicket was scalped by Mitchell Starc for 29 with 6 boundaries. But Sohail Khan came in, and one was probably thinking that Pakistan would be looking for some quick runs, especially considering that rain has lost a lot of play. But contrary to expectation, Sohail Khan normally is a one who really likes to play strokes, was not really able to stroke the ball freely, and I thought the Australian bowlers was also bowling a good line, making it very difficult. Azhar Ali was playing in his usual fashion that he has done, and while that was going on, but there was a rain interruption, and after the rain interruption, it seems Pakistan definitely got the message, and Sohail Khan probably was under instructions from the Pakistani think tank to really have a go at the Australian bowlers, and that's what he precisely did. And especially Sohail Khan liked the taste of Nathan Lyon very much, as he clattered him for 4 sixes and all huge hits, I could say. It was really very well hit, clean as a whistle, one could, as the late commentator Tony Greig would have said in his commentary, clean as a whistle. So Sohail Khan was looking pretty good, and this partnership was really racing along after that interruption, and things suddenly started changing here for Pakistan as the score was really galloping. And while that was going on, the score had reached 435, and finally they managed to get the wicket of Sohail Khan, who was run out by a Nick Maddinson throw, but not before causing enough damage to the Aussie bowlers by slamming 65 of as many balls with 6 fours and 4 sixes, all coming off the bowling of the random off spinner Nathan Lyon. And Azhar Ali went on to, as I said, notch up the highest ever score by a Pakistani batsman in Australia. Not only that, he also became the first player from Pakistan to actually score a double century in Australia, as he finished on an unbeaten 205 of 20 balls, and once Wahab Riaz was cotton bowled by Hazelwood, came the declaration, and Pakistan declaring the innings closed at 443 for 9. The bowling, the Hazelwood and Jackson Bird were the ones who shared 3 wickets apiece, 1 wicket apiece to Mitchell Starc and Nathan Lyon. Australia, starting up their reply, definitely were really tested. The conditions at the MCG were such that there was a nice wind blowing, and you could see there was a continuous breeze which was actually moving in, and definitely it was aiding the ball to really swing. And that's what precisely Mohammad Amir and Sohail Khan did, as they really gave up working overs to both the opening batsmen from Australia, Matt Renshaw and David Warner. And David Warner in particular was kept very quiet. He was not really able to really free himself, as Mohammad Amir was the one who was bowling a beautiful line. Sohail Khan, well, I thought a bit short, a bit on the shorter side, and things were going on. And even though the Australian scoring was kept in check, one really thought that Misbah ul Haq, the captain, decided to toss the ball to Yasir Shah to see whether there is any turn. And definitely it was Yasir Shah who extracted the turn out of the pitch, as Matt Renshaw got a ball from Yasir Shah, which was actually pitched just on the leg stump, and Matt Renshaw was actually shaping to have a heave at it, probably wanting to send him down over the. He wanted to send him over to the upper territory, but in the process, Matt Renshaw lost his stumps as the ball, after dipping in, turned in to Matt Renshaw's disappointment, and Matt Renshaw missed it and hit the timber. And so Matt Renshaw was gone, bowled by Yasir Shah for 10 with 1-4, and that was the breakthrough that Pakistan were looking out for. They got the breakthrough, but Usman Khwaja came in, was under a bit of pressure as he was hemmed in by a lot of fielders close in by Misbah ul Haq. And also looking at the breeze that was blowing, we saw Misbah ul Haq had 4 slips and gully in place, but I have to say that the bowling was very, very good from Pakistan. But Yasir Shah, after taking that wicket, we saw Usman Khwaja slowly settle in, and at the other end, David Warner, who was watchful initially, started getting into his range of strokes, and we saw the free-flowing Warner as that we have seen, and Usman Khwaja was giving him admirable company as the partnership started blossoming, as they added 198 runs for the second wicket. And David Warner, as I said, has had a very tough time at the MCG, but by getting a century yesterday, what he did is he got a century after 18 innings in test matches, and what he did best was that David Warner now has centuries in each of the venues in Australia, and that really says that David Warner, what a dangerous bloke David Warner is, as David Warner contributed 144. As I said, this partnership had added 198 runs. Usman Khwaja was also getting into his element as this partnership was going on. Wahab Riaz, who was bought in, was a it was a big disappointment. He bowled a lot of no balls. He was not bowling a good line. He was pitching the ball very short, making it easy pickings for the Australian batsmen, especially Warner and Khwaja. And then it was Wahab Riaz really struggling with his line yesterday. And even though he had the pace, he was getting the pace up, but bowling a good line is very important in Test cricket, which he could not, and he didn't really put up a good show there. As Usman Khwaja was there, not out on 95 with 13 boundaries, and Stephen Smith, the captain, was with him, not out on 10 with 2 boundaries, as Australia closed the day at 278 for 2. They still had 165 runs to actually usurp the Pakistan total, but nevertheless a very, very good reply from Australia, a strong reply one could say. And the bowling, Mohammad Amin, 14 overs, 2 maidens, none for 44. Sohail Khan, 12 overs, 4 maidens, none for 40. Yasir Shah, 16 overs, clattered. He really was very, very costly yesterday. He went for 97 runs with 1 wicket to show besides his name. Wahab Riaz, 1 for 77. Very, very bad show by Wahab Riaz. Azhar Ali, 2 overs, no for 11. So that was the match situation as far as Australia and Pakistan were concerned. So now we go on to the Port Elizabeth here, and while I'm talking to you, I can give you, I'm trying to give you a live cricket update here. Bangladesh New Zealand match is underway here at the Saxton Oval in Nelson, and Martin Guptill and Tom Latham are the ones at the crease. 2 balls have been bowled, and the New Zealand are yet to score. But let's get on to Port Elizabeth here, and we are looking at day 3 at the St. George Park in Port Elizabeth. South Africa, they're resuming their bowling against the Sri Lankans today morning, and one-on Philander in the very first over took a very big wicket on whom the hopes would have hinged for Sri Lanka to score a lot of runs. It didn't happen. Dhananjaya De Silva was dismissed of the very first delivery of the day by one-on Philander, as he forced Dhananjaya De Silva to poke at a delivery which went away from him, and De Kock behind the stumps never made any mistake. So he was gone. De Kock bowled Philander for 43 with 5 boundaries, and then in the very same over, in fact, one-on Philander went on to knock off the wicket of the other batsman. Other batsman was Suranga Lakmal, which was the 9th wicket of Sri Lanka falling there. Lakmal was out to the last ball of the first over. He was gone for 4, and then there was some resistance, I would say, but only very, very brief. At least they managed to take Sri Lanka on to 205, thus conceding a 81 runs lead, as Chamira made 19 with 2 boundaries, and Pradeep was not out on 8. And one-on Philander returning a 5-wicket haul, which was very good to see. 20 overs, 7 maidens, 45 runs and 5 wickets. 3 wickets for Abbott and 1 wicket apiece to Kagiso Rabada and Keshav Maharaj. Now South Africa, in their second dig, they started off very nicely. Once again, they really they had to be a bit watchful initially with the ball doing something, as Lakmal and Pradeep bowled a better line with the new cherry, and it was Stephen Cook and Dean Elgar who had to be a bit watchful. But they definitely went through that tough phase which was initially, but later on we saw how they unwinded, especially Stephen Cook playing some beautiful strokes. Elgar also joining, but in a more sedate manner, as they put up the second opening century partnership. They also put a opening century partnership in the first innings as well, and in the second innings as well. They went on to put 116 runs for the first wicket, and then finally it was Suranga Lakmal who gave them the breakthrough when he had Dean Elgar spooning a catch to Matthews, but not before he had scored a 50, made 52 with 4 boundaries. Hashim Amla joined Stephen Cook, and there was some real impetus there once Hashim Amla came to the crease, as Hashim Amla was launching into his strokes in his own way, and it was very good to see that Hashim Amla was getting his form back. He was playing some scorching drives through the cover region, and also the effortless ease with which he actually flicks the ball, and that was happening. And Stephen Cook was also growing in confidence, as Hashim Amla and Stephen Cook actually took the score to 221 by putting on a 105 runs partnership for the second wicket. And it was good to see Hashim Amla really get into his strides. He was playing marvelously, as the strokes were really coming from the middle of the bat, which was good to see. And while that was going on, it was just look at the dismissal from Hashim Amla, which was then LBW dismissal to Nuwan Pradeep, and this was the 10,000th dismissal as LBW in Test cricket. In the sense, these are it was number 10,000 LBW, and it was Hashim Amla who was the victim. As in the previous delivery, Hashim Amla played a beautiful stroke where Nuwan Pradeep had actually bowled the ball outside the off stump, but Hashim Amla had so much of time that he could actually work the ball away for a boundary through the onside. But the very next delivery, Pradeep realizing that Hashim Amla would try something like that, he once again went to a similar delivery, but this time, but probably not, it was not as full as before, which ended up with Hashim Amla once again trying to attempt the flick shot, but this time the ball was the winner, as he actually wrapped him on the stumps, and Hashim Amla was out. LBW bowled Pradeep for 48 with 5 boundaries, which made the score 221 for 2. And as I said, this was the 10,000 LBW dismissal in Test cricket. Duminy came in. Duminy contributed 25 with 2 boundaries. But before that, Stephen Cook had gone on to his third Test century as he scored 117 with 11 boundaries before Chamira got a ball which actually left him, and he ended up into the Chandimal's hands, and he was gone for 117. After that, Dhananjay De Silva, the right arm spinner, really showed some nice turning deliveries. He got the ball to turn to both the left-hander and the right-hander. He got the scalp of Dumini by getting him caught by Matthews at the forward short left for 25, 2 boundaries. And then he also knocked off the wicket of Tenda Bavuma by getting the ball to turn. And he was gone for 8, caught by Mendes, and which left South Africa in a bit of, I wouldn't say any trouble, but they were 277 for 5. But later on, Du Plessis and Quinton de Kock combined into a beautiful partnership, which is still ongoing, I would say, as the score really leapt up to 351 for 5 at close of play. Du Plessis was not out on 41 with 1 boundary. Quinton de Kock was looking good, 42 with 4 boundaries. As South Africa, as I said, 432 runs in front. We are getting into the 4th day tomorrow, and one would be hoping that South Africa might continue till the tea time and probably declare the innings. One has to wait and watch. But nothing more to really add here, dear fans and subscribers. I think, and just before I go, I would like to give you a cricket update here. As I'm talking to you, Bangladesh have got their first wicket. As I said, cloudy conditions, Bangladesh winning the toss against New Zealand here at the Saxton Oval in Nelson in the second ODI, and actually putting the opposition to bat first. And Martin Guptill is a goner. He has been LBW bowled, Mustafa Murtaza for naught. And in the very first over, they've lost a wicket. And right now, as I'm leaving you here on the Cricket Happening show, with this live update, that New Zealand are 0 for 1 batting first against Bangladesh in the second ODI. There'll be more cricket happenings which will be coming up tomorrow. Till such time that happens, this is your host Ram signing off. Thank you.